Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Eternal Backlog episode 13. I'm Nomad and I'm here with Shady. How's it going?
Hello.
It's been a busy week again, and we're back with the precursor episode before we give our Halloween special. We're actually going to do a Halloween themed episode in a couple of weeks' time. It's more celebrated over where you live than here, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. And has everything been all right in the hood? It sounds like things are a little bit busy for you at the moment, work-wise. So
yeah, it's just coming up to the end of the year now, so everything's all piling up, and haven't done as much gaming as I would like to have this week, especially with a particular game that we'll be going into shortly. But I do have some thoughts on it, definitely.
Yeah. Okie doke. Well, we'll be getting into that as a part of the Playstack later on the episode. We've got a bunch of news stories for you, but our feature game this week is obviously Shattered Space, the Starfield expansion, and I'm quite interested to go into that one. We teased last week about a certain little purchase, and it was the Rayban Meta smart glasses. Ooh. Which I'm trying to give you the. There you go. You can see it there.
Is that a light or is that just a button?
So these actually come with a charging case.
Oh, it's a light.
And it uses the nose stem bit, nose bridge is where the contacts are. So you charge your case up there, and it does 9 recharges, and it lasts about 2 hours.
So it's charge. Like the same kind of charging as like an AirPods case then?
Pretty much, yeah. It's probably where Zuckerberg got the idea from, since he doesn't tend to come up with his own.
I do wonder about the nose part, though. I didn't know that. So will your nose gunk and your sweat just clogs the contact points, do they?
Well, no, it's down there, so you would never really get.
You might have to
never really get anything there. See there?
On the black parts?
Well, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Around about there. But these are the translucent ones, so you get to see all of the components inside.
Yeah.
All of the tech. I mean, it's proper geeky looking, and I'm quite enjoying it. It's nice for really impromptu sort of moments that you want to use it, and it's only at the moment it's lacking a few features that's in America. So the language translation feature and some of the LLM llama language engine stuff hasn't arrived yet. So we're a little bit behind from the United States, but we'll see if they continue on with these, which it looks like Zuckerberg is, because I don't know if you saw his event where he's teasing what is going to be the next iteration of these, which is going to be obviously a lot more deeper visuals. You'll be able to visually see stuff and things like that. But
I'm actually keen because you said the battery's 2 hours, and I'm going to talk to you about this for a few minutes because I've been on the hunt. And I've been looking for a dash cam, something I can record sort of my driving speeds when I go up to the mountain and stuff like that. And I haven't found anything that quite. How do I explain it? I've tested a few, and I've even gotten a mount for my phone to see if that made a difference. It records beautifully. The problem is there's so much image stabilization that it looks like the car's not going fast.
Oh right,
it's too smooth, and it's not picking up the engine sound as much as I'd hoped. Now I think that's probably done on purpose, so it doesn't drown out the video. Yeah. But I'm thinking as well, if I do get a pair of those myself and I'm wearing them, not only do I get the footage of the road outside the windshield, but I can kind of look around in the cockpit as I look down at the gears. It will kind of follow my head and stuff.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So 2 hours, you said, right?
About 2 hours. Now that's not 2 hours if you're recording something. That would obviously be less. So you would need to. You're
not recording them. What's the 2 hours for?
Well, obviously it's always on, right? So it's always powered up. So it's not.
I'll be honest with you. I probably should do a bit more digging then, because I thought it was just record, stop recording. Is it more than that?
No. These glasses, you can ask it questions, play music on it, all of that stuff. I quite listen to quite a bit of music on it because I don't know how the audio. I think it's not exactly. I think it's got down-firing speakers similar to the Vision, the Apple Vision.
Only you can hear it, or is there a lot of audio bleed?
Oh, well, there's hardly any audio bleed. It's really, really impressive. But when you cup your ears, it's like the audio bounces around, and all of a sudden, when you cup your ears, it's like you've got a pair of cans on.
Oh wow!
It's weird.
Oh wow!
But it's good.
You'd mentioned a couple of features missing from the US. I'm about to break your heart because obviously we're a few weeks away from the iOS 18.1 release.
Yeah.
But certain regions in the world are not going to be getting Apple Intelligence upon release.
No, it's not the UK, is it?
I think the UK is one of them.
What?
Hang on, let me have a quick look.
No.
Because there was some legal, yeah.
I bet it is because we've left Europe as well.
Probably. Apple Intelligence. Hang on, let me have a look. Sorry, it's the other way around. Apple Intelligence is available in the UK, but not the European Union.
There you go. See? Brexit. There you go.
There you go. Politics.
Yes, there we go. Exactly. It was the right decision, ladies and gentlemen. But,
So the whole of the EU is not getting Apple Intelligence. That's a big one,
that's great. Yeah, well, they've obviously had problems with app stores, and they're very more litigious in the European Union and stuff at the moment.
I don't know if you heard, but was it last year? The EU again sued Apple because they forced Apple to open up iOS so that third-party app stores could be installed. Something that Apple was notorious for not doing, which was keeping a walled garden for safety. At least that's what they say.
Yeah.
Unless you got an EU version of the phone, it's hang on, I don't want to use Apple's App Store. I want to install this Epic Store, which Epic's taking full advantage of because of Fortnite. So all these there's a side loader on there now.
I know, yeah.
It's an Android in Europe. There you go, basically. I'm
still waiting for them to repeal the headphone audio limiting thing. Because that's come from... It does my head in. It's my ears. Let me listen to things as loud as I want.
You know...
it drives me mad.
It is a lot louder in the US. I'll give it that. My UK iPhone, I used to get to the max. I'm like, one or two more notches up would have been nice.
Yeah.
Here, I have to turn them down. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, anyway, we got a bit of housekeeping before we get on with our Playstack for this week. And a bit of a dichotomy situation here. So, YouTube on the 15th of October are going to allow us to extend the length of our YouTube shorts, which I think, especially when we come down to talking about technical stuff, it's really helpful. But at the same time, they said they're going to launch a feature that allows people to show less shorts in their feed. So I really don't know how to play this, and I don't know whether we just mix things up and just see what works. It's just keep changing things every 5 minutes at this point. But
yeah, I know. YouTube's one of the most unstable platforms. If your business, your income, your livelihood all depends on YouTube, you don't know what your next month's going to look like. You know,
exactly. That's the stress of it.
Yeah, just like, we're going to go for a holiday. I don't know yet, darling. I've got to see what YouTube does this month. You know, they might knock my channel off and not give me a reason. Yeah.
I'm a bit low on money. I'm going to have to stick a firecracker up my backside and shoot it out for some views.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that firecracker can last for 3 minutes now. Yeah.
Enough to turn it into a 50p piece from a 1p coin, but...
Since we're on the topic of length, yeah.
Anyway, should we do the Playstack
and
get into some of that stuff? I want to kick things off with just an update on EAFC 25, by the way, and I haven't bought it. Just so you know. No,
I saw the achievements popping up, and I wondered, have you bought it? Because I was like, I don't know.
No, I still haven't bought it. Okay. But I'm getting a good old 10, because you get 10 hours free, basically, on this trial.
Yeah.
And clearly I've not been playing football games as much as I used to, because I'd rinse through that 10 hours so quick. It's quite interesting, because I went back and played FC 24 a little earlier today. And I don't know whether they went in one last time with FC 24 and repatched it again afterwards or what, but I'm starting to notice the differences a bit more with FC 25 having that direct refresh comparison. I still don't know if I'm going to get it, but I will say
you'll get it.
That finally you'll play teams and they will actually use different tactics, whereas before they never used to.
All the same. That could be a Halloween game, actually, to be honest, when you think about it. It's falling into that horror genre now. You never know what you're going to get playing football 1 week to the next.
Oh no, that's it. That's very true. So I played a bit of that, and then I started Tell Me Why. Oh God.
So tell me why you playing it.
Well, because I started playing some of these narrative-driven games on VR, and Tell Me Why was on there, so I thought, oh, I'll kick that off next. Now, out of all the ones that I've played, it is the slowest start.
Yeah.
To it gets so monotonously boring, and I think they were playing on the trans element to make it interesting.
Was that the one? Because I played quite a few. That's the one where you're in like a market in the beginning or something, right? Or is it like a street?
This is the one where there are
I'm
two
Googling it
characters.
right now. I'll know it once I see the screenshots. Because it's all a blur.
I'm not sure if you've done this one yet or not.
It doesn't look like I have. The reason I asked that is because there's quite a few that. No, I have played this.
Yeah.
Yep. This was like 2 years ago. I finished this. Yeah.
And they get the ferry over to the lodge.
Yes. Yeah.
That type of thing.
I did finish
and
that.
I was already like, this is so slow. So incredibly slow. And then I think I got to the point where something kind of happens that could remotely be interesting. But I don't know whether it's the whole... I don't know whether they thought it would be interesting to have the arc of someone that's trans as a main storyline arc behind...
Oh, well, that's the second game that's done that. The latest Life is Strange did the same thing.
Have they done that as well?
Yeah, the latest
It's double
one.
bubble then, is it?
Yeah, well, the Life is Strange one was a bit better. At least there was a bit more in the way of story and action and things going on. Tell me why. The visuals are really nice. Of all of them, I think that's the nicest looking one. But yeah, like you said, it kind of it does this whole isolationist thing. It's like, let's take someone who's going through an isolationist part of their life and let's put them on a literal island
Yeah.
with ice and snow. So you're literally there with nothing but your thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. I'll see if I can get back into it, but it's going to be a bit of a tough one.
It's an easy 1,000 Gs though.
So you've been playing the game that I barely went an hour without busting out a walkthrough with and got fed up with it. Scorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like for you? Did you have to bust the walkthrough open?
I did.
Or
I did, yeah. Especially that first puzzle with the pods. I'm like, what have I got to do here? And then I got it, but then it was giving me weird results when, you think, oh, let me move this pod over here from left to right, and it's like, no, it breaks.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do then? No, this one came up on my dashboard as games leaving, Game Pass soon. I had it installed for 2 years, and I just never got around to playing it. I was hooked to the visuals from day one when they started creeping up, the whole biopunk thing. And I think it's one of the most unique worlds I've ever seen. And it's done very well. The weapons, which are hardly weapons, but they're there. Even the ammo, you go up to this ammo station and it just kind of, this piece of meat just opens up and you're putting these little, I don't know, like tumors in for bullets, and it's just all mushy and it's really interesting. It's definitely kept my eyes entertained. Gameplay is definitely a little on the slow side though. It really tries to not give you too much in the way of UI. So if you want to look at, how many bullets you've got left, for example, you either got to look at your gun, there's these little light things that pop up, or you look down at your sort of torso area where these arms behind you are holding like a... It looks like a squid, but it's got the other ammo that you're carrying off health and stuff like that. And some of the puzzles are definitely not the most obvious, and they won't be because obviously it's a world that we're not familiar with. It doesn't, imitate what we know as life. So you kind of have to learn, oh, that's a health refueling station, basically. Oh, this is how I get ammo. Oh, that's what a button looks like. So you have to relearn all that again. It becomes really apparent after a while. It's a short game, though. A very short game.
Was it?
Very short game, yeah. But I'm not too sure what I got out of the story, to be honest. The way it ended was kind of like, oh, all right. Nice. So I kind of hoped that there was a little more in that world. But I think it was an indie developer that made that. But I'd like to see that kind of taken and made into a sequel with a lot more going for it. Definitely a lot more shooting. That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I liked it though.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't get on with it. But it was that point that you mentioned. That opening thing. I was like, how am I having to open up a walkthrough this early in a game? And I was just like, do you know what? So, but now I've figured out a way to have walkthroughs open that's just a lot more, nicer. Now maybe I don't know. Depends if it ever comes back on Game Pass at this point. But
See, this is where I think that the Ray-Bans would be good. If you can pull up a walkthrough in like your left eye as you're playing, that'd be great.
well, that would be the later version of because there's no video on this yet. It's all audio.
Oh no.
And, there's no like overlay like the old Google Glass thing.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, maybe some point in the future. I played a game called In Rays of Light by Sergei Noskov. It is officially the second game I've bought this year from a Russian developer. So thought we'd make the disclosure there since...
Our viewers are definitely wondering why at this point.
But it plays... I think it kind of plays on psychological horror a little bit. It's like a walking sim type game. It was on my wish list for a while, and it's a couple of quid. But again, probably similar to Scorn. Very like some of these walking simulators, they just feel incredibly slow. I don't think it's a very big game at all, but it was just something to play on the side. And then the last one on my list, I believe, was playing Frag. So I had an opportunity to play this earlier today in the closed beta, and I have to say it certainly appeals to me more than Valorant does. But it's a shooter that is... So at the beginning of every round you got packs, a little bit like that zombie game that we played that wasn't Redfall type thing. That was I can't remember what it was called. Not Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood. Something like that. So you've got these cards that you can use at the beginning of the round, and you can manipulate the whole world. So you got one ability that is you can start the round with, and then you've got a special ability that you need to be able to bank that into the game map to activate it, and then you can do things like flip the whole world upside down, shoot your own opponents to give them health, like all these weird, there's loads of different variations of it. Characters, they look so much better than Concord does. Not that that's very hard to do. But the big but with this is, in terms of health, gives you a bit more leeway than what Valorant does. But this again is another game that is, unless you're playing with people and you're able to play on voice chat, it's more of a, like if I was playing an NFL play, because these rounds don't last long at all, because it's quite close quarters, and the whole idea being that it's very strategic based, more strategic than Rainbow Six Siege. So if you're just with a bunch of random people, no matter how satisfying the guns might feel and all of this stuff, you have to have the right combination of people to play with that are using their mics to have much success with this game, unless you've just got someone you're with that's just really good. But the whole idea of it being it's meant to be this more tactical based, shorter rounds, because there's 7 rounds in there, like a whole match, if you get what I mean, and they don't last particularly long. So if you're a fan of Call of Duty, it's going to feel a bit alien, but I do like the concept. The maps that I played were pretty decent, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm not as excited about this as I was with XDefiant, because it's a different type of shooter. Visually it's very good, but again, it's going to be one of those ones that I think it could potentially be, if Valorant picked up so many interested players on PC, I think this is going to be one that's going to be more popular on PC than console. But it does look like it could potentially be something that might interest a few people, especially if you've got a bit of history back in Counter-Strike and that as well. So it is available to play if you have the Xbox Insider Hub installed on your Xbox. You can go in there and take a look at that right now. So I think that wraps it up for the games I've been playing, and we've got Shattered Space to talk about here. So
yes,
I finished it earlier today, or at least the main story earlier today.
Okay.
A couple of side quests left. But let me start off with your sort of overall thoughts of this, because I'm interested to see whether you feel the same. I know we tried not to speak about this, but I did mention to you how I was a little bit feeling mid-play of this one.
Yeah. So I want to say I've put maybe 2 to 3 hours into it. I've done kind of 2 of the main checkpoint missions, I suppose, and halfway through the third one. I'm going to break this into 2 parts, really. There's the story and the Shattered Space DLC itself, and then there's the overall game. And I'll start with the overall game, because a lot's changed since I played it on launch. The biggest one for me was the frame rate selection.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously downloaded and started playing this way before I did, and you sent me a clip, and you know, I was like, hold on a second, that doesn't really look like 60 FPS. It looks like it's kind of running in between somewhere. Maybe it's slowed down. Maybe it was iMessage. Maybe it compressed the video. So first thing I did was set my my thingamajig onto 40 FPS, but quality mode. I thought, you know what? I still want to see the bells and whistles, and I've got a variable refresh rate TV, so I can handle it. And I thought, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, let me put 60 on just to see what it's like.
That's what I put on, yeah.
And then I forgot about it. Right? I started playing it, got into it a little bit. My God, the performance on this game is horrendous.
It's not a good start, is it?
There so many slowdowns and stutters, and it's just like anytime you're in an outside environment where you can see sky, I guess, it runs like absolute dog meat. But if you're indoors and there's close quarters and corridors and tunnels and things like that, it's absolutely fine. But it shouldn't be this way. So I said, all right then, let me excuse me, let me put this down to 40 again. At least that way it might be a bit more stable, and it definitely was stable. The spikes weren't so drastic, that they took me out of the immersion. But again, there were still points where I'm just like, why is it slowing down so much? So that was my first issue. It happens so frequently. It happens probably every 15 seconds, depending on which way you turn and what enemies on the screen.
Yeah.
And God help you if you get sort of 3-4 enemies at once on screen, because once those particle effects start flying and then you're reloading and Sarah's in the corner yapping about something, oh no, that's it.
You brought Sarah with you, did you?
I brought Sarah with me, and she's actually doing my head in, to be honest, but she's carrying a lot of my weapons, so I kind of need her right now. So I think the performance is abysmal. It really baffles me as to why they opened it up to 60 knowing that it was this bad. Because people are going to see right through it. I'd rather they stuck to the 30 and said, you know what, next gen Xbox will open it up and do all the quality of life improvements. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Shattered Space itself, and I see you've got a note here on a point here on the notes. Literally, as soon as I started my game, check my menu. Oh yeah, there was a distress call, just like every other Bethesda game. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
I took a screenshot of it, and this was no exception. Except it didn't even verbalize through a character or a radio call or an incoming message. Nothing. Normally in Fallout, your Pip-Boy will start saying, "Oh, there's a. It looks like we're picking up a broadcast. Why don't you switch to your comms to see what it is?" This didn't do any of that. It just so happens that because I'm such a Bethesda fan and have played practically all their games, that I was like, let me check the menu. Oh, there it is. There's a new option there, a new mission. So I thought that was a bit of a slap in the face, considering...
Yeah, I got confused at first. I was like, how do you start this DLC?
Yeah.
And I thought it was where I was. It was just another one of these random docking stations that exist throughout Starfield. I was like, I've just arrived at this random planet that's got one of these satellite things at. This is obviously a side quest I missed on the first playthrough and into the second playthrough. Very confusing.
Yeah. And that was I saw a tweet from you actually saying that the controls feel so weird when you haven't played Starfield in a while, and you're absolutely right. It wasn't so much the controls, it's just there's these weird things. There's a bunch of weird decisions that Starfield makes, and I don't know why. I'll give you an example, right? In any FPS game, if you approach an item or an object or something that you're supposed to interact with within, I'm going to make up a number here, 50 meters, something's supposed to happen. A button prompt appears, or a silhouette of the item lights up, something to give you visual indication that that's interactable, right? In the case of Starfield, and this really messed me up the first time I played it, You get closer to the ship that you're supposed to dock, and you don't know how to dock. Why? Because it makes you have your ship's crosshair on the either the planet or the docking station first. Press A, then the UI appears, and then it's X to dock. And so I remember after I accidentally pressed A on the thing, I was like, why is the cursor telling me that I need to go to this part of the ship? And I'm thinking, hang on a second, maybe it's on the other side of the ship, and it's, I've got to look through it.
Yeah.
Went around to the other side of the ship. It's telling me to go back to where I want. I'm like, is this a glitch? And I happened to hit A, and it's like, oh yeah, press X to dock, and then I got the docking animation. I'm like, for God's sake, if I'm approaching something in space and I can dock it, just show the UI, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that I read they were going to add very early on in the launch was that they were going to add a quick button so you didn't have to pick up a consumable, only to then go into your inventory to eat it. And I thought, okay, great. It does have that, but only for some items.
Yes.
So, and I'm just like, why? Why? If I find alien...
If I find a med pack, let me use it straight away.
That too. Or if I find things that are not traditionally considered human food, like alien bites or whatever, you can eat them. It'll give you a health point, but you might get like some kind of a disease. But that's up to me if I want to take that risk, right? Those items I can't quick eat or consume.
Yeah.
I have to go into the menu, go through them one, but it's just stupid stuff like that. I'm just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the DLC. Starts exactly the way I thought it would start. New location, just like Bethesda's always kind of done. You go on there, you uncover a mystery, which is the ship you land on. And then through the use of world artifacts such as audio logs, you kind of get a bit of background story as to what's been going on. You encounter your first enemies that weren't in the main game. And then for the rest of it, it's pretty much Starfield. It didn't do an awful lot in the way of making me feel like, oh, this is amazing, this is new, this is fun. It's just more of Starfield. The environment of the new planet, it's beautiful. The whole blue and red sort of atmosphere, it's really nice, something we haven't seen. Story hasn't grown, it's not capturing me, if I'm honest. Story
it's an odd selection because they could have decided to have gone back and did something as, looking back at what Sarah Morgan went through, potentially. And I know that the House Faroon was kind of, because in New Atlantis, it was in the main playthrough, you kind of got to sneak into that building, it's deserted, and then you got those robots you take out, and you actually pick up your first House Faroon gun out the whole game, and tends to be one of the better weapons in the first main playthrough of the game. But there was still who are the zealots? What are they all about? What's their mission here? So it expands on the story arc of that. But it really just feels, I can't figure out whether they looked at this and thought, we're not 100% sure how this is going to work. I'm not sure whether this is something that the narrative was already written pre-launch of Starfield. There's a certain semblance in me tells me there's something, or certain elements of this had already been cooked up pre to this game going out. On original launch. But, and I don't want to give away story here, but it hasn't captivated me. It plays on, this is the problem I think with Starfield, just in general. Everything in the original playthrough of Starfield has either been already done in a Hollywood movie, it plays on sci-fi tropes. Similar situation here with this main story arc is we've heard it before, we've watched a movie on it before, or it's a parable about what's happening on Earth today with, certain... I mean, I can give away as much as we know that House Faroon are a religious entity, right? So... and it plays on these types of arcs, and I'm like, where's the originality here? And I think this is the biggest problem that Starfield has, is creating really compelling narratives, because the closest they got to it was the UC Vanguard side quests, hunting down the Xenomorphs. I thought that was, if anything, the strongest of all of the side quests of the main game. I enjoyed that more personally than this DLC. Just because it felt pretty unique. I even say I actually quite enjoyed the side quests where you had to, raid the Gal Bank with the space pirates. Is it space pirates?
Crimson Fleet.
Crimson Fleet, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd even go as much as saying I prefer those in terms of story compared to this. Now, granted, the game, visually, it's done. I say it's pushed out a lot of more interesting stuff. It hasn't. It's very much like if you were to take a look at Vurunkai in general, the main bit where everyone lives. It's pretty much an extended upon version of the Mars planet, right? There's no until you get into the thing that's covered by the big ball of plasma. Inside there, visually, absolutely beautiful, amazing design of the architecture of what's inside that building. I thought really, really impressive. But again, this is just a classic case, and I spoke about this probably a few episodes in when we started this podcast. I'm like, Starfield, where's the fun? Where's the fun? You've got an unlimited landscape of doing whatever you could possibly do, the biggest canvas of all time, to just throw any ideas out there. It doesn't matter. You could have something grav drive into a settled space system that nobody's seen has existed. You don't need to fill a backstory for it. You can create a nice, interesting thing with it. Where are the full-on alien races? Talking Mass Effect style here. They don't exist. Pretty much everything, apart from that dancing DJ or whatever in the club in Neon, is the nearest alien thing I've ever seen in the whole game. Yeah. And it's like, there's so much stuff they could do.
It's actually a good point.
And they're not even touching on it.
I never considered that, actually. Why are there no aliens in this game?
There's not even like a traditional grey. I mean, that would be great to see the old big-eyed...
Yeah. That's interesting. I think, you raised on quite a few good points there. I think for me, there's a bigger issue at play. I finished Starfield a year ago, all right? Put my sort of 72, 100 hours into it, 100%ed it, and got on with my life. The problem with DLC, and especially in today's world, is I have forgotten about what happened a year ago in Starfield. So when I go into a DLC expansion and it's on, a race in the game where something once happened, well, I can't remember what happened to that race. What an easy thing a lot of games tend to do with expansions, they'll play kind of a cutscene previously on something. God of War did it previously on God of War, and it reminded you what happened at the end. Why was there none of that?
I don't know. I mean, that's how you build up more compelling narratives. The game doesn't do cutscenes. It doesn't. Much.
Or even if it was, even if it was acted out, or even if it was just something popped up on the screen with some text or whatever, something. I would have preferred a cutscene, but give me the backstory. Because now I've gone on to this, I'm like, oh, hang on a second, I've forgotten how big this game was. All right, hang on, let me learn the controls again. Right, there's the menu.
Yeah.
How do I get to the planet? Wait, hold on a second, where is the mission? Oh, there's the mission, go to the planet. Right, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, there's the blue diamond I've got to follow on screen, So it just becomes this learning curve again, rather than, oh, I'm dying to hear what happens to X or Y. And I think they need to do a lot more of that in the lead up to the launch as well. Like, put some cutscenes out, teasers on YouTube to say, well, this is what's coming up. And I get it, but at the same time, we also got to look at the way this has been announced, right? Because Shattered Space was announced alongside the premium version of the original base game. If you paid extra, you got the access to this DLC for free. But then after that, we didn't hear anything about it for a while. And then it was only kind of in between announcements at the last... was it Summer Game Fest? It was, wasn't it?
It was, there was a very short moment on
there was
Xbox's presser.
A 45-second trailer, like just random clips, like a BuzzFeed, just showing all these like weird things happening. And it makes you think, oh, this is cool. There's effects here we've never seen before. But you see those effects as soon as you start the mission, and it just becomes the norm. And it's like, all right, just more of the same with effects now. So I don't know. We're going to talk about this later on, but I think what's ultimately going to end up having to happen, and this is not just with Starfield, this is just Bethesda in general, they've got to ditch the creation engine.
Oh, 100%,
they have to ditch this creation engine. Halo has learned, well, hopefully they've learned, but you've got to go to something more modern. I don't even care if it's Unreal 5 at this point. You've got to stop making... Literally, right, here's a funny story. I went to turn in a quest, the guy's back was towards me. Normally in a game, you hit the button and they'll turn around and face you. No, not in Starfield. I've got to turn around and face him, right? So as I did the turnaround, I'm facing him. As soon as I went to push my A button, he turns to his side. So now the button prompt's gone again, all right? Got to go around. So it's stupidness. I'm positioning myself just to get a button prompt appear so I can check in the mission, right? And then as I'm talking to him, freaking Sarah Morgan's glitching through the screen. I can see like her nose and one eye just kind of like trying to walk by, but I'm stood there like blocking the path. Like, for God's sake, Bethesda, if there's something intimate happening on screen, unload everything around you. You know what I mean? Get all the characters off screen. Heck, you might even save resource. Something, you know? It's just a lot of stupidity, a lot of glitchiness, a lot of talking to backs. And at one point, the guy started speaking to me and he's talking over his shoulder. Yeah. Like that. I'm like, what is this, man?
None of the characters that they've introduced in this are even remotely compelling.
There's just no emotion.
Not even remotely compelling. Not even this phantom race that you experience on the ship.
Yeah.
It's interesting because in terms of how this game, I thought it started off pretty strong with the on-ship combat, with the zero-G battles, and you having to get used to the phantoms. But that's once you learn what the phantoms do, where you can pretty much, they will, teleport right behind you. You know they're either going to teleport behind you or, more annoyingly, especially when you're out in the world, they'll be up on some high point.
Yeah.
And they just knock your health down left and right. I mean, this is... I don't know what you're going to play it on, but I suggest when you come down to that final mission, just get whatever health that you can, because it's insane. And I'd say it's pretty much a U-curve. So, game starts off pretty strong on the ship until you land on the planet. Then you land on the planet and you get introduced to a bunch of side quests, which we've seen time and time again. I mean, the one where you've got to find the guy who gets injured, that I was stuck on for an hour because you got to figure out 4 different things before your waypoint moved on. So it dips back down. Then you've got to kind of get allegiance from different parts of House of Faroon to be on side. And then it surmounts to this final place called the Citadel. And that's where it gets good again. And then the ending. I wondered what was the point. There's 3 different ways you can end it. The first one that I ended it on, I was like, are you taking the piss?
Really?
It was just so badly written. And then I just reloaded that last save and did a slightly different outcome. And I at least got something for it other than on top of some money. But even that, you're like, there was a certain mission in the original Starfield game, which was a side mission of all, where you could pick up that beautiful spaceship. And it was just a random side quest. You don't even get anything like that. Really? You don't get any, it's the payoff is just an insult, to be honest with you.
So let me ask you, so you've, without spoiling it for anyone who hasn't played it yet, you've, did you walk through a certain item at the end of the main game?
What did you mean?
Right, so, you come back, you walk through an item, you walk through a portal.
Yeah, so I'm on the New Game Plus playthrough as Starborn. Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you've said that as someone who's a Starborn. So I have retained my original game. I'm not a Starborn. I've got all my equipment, all my everything. Yeah. And the fact that we're having the same experience, it just feels like they could have capitalized off of that as well. You know what I mean?
Well, apparently, what I've been hearing, if you take Andrea with you onto this planet, it's supposedly a little bit more interesting. And I can't remember Andrea's backstory.
Well, I think she was House Faroon.
Right, and okay.
But that's interesting you say it, because I also, I've been watching a couple of YouTube reviews on it, and someone said they did the obvious and took Andrea, but it was only the bare minimum they did. Like, it was only a couple of, oh, hey, Andrea, but that was it. It wasn't like
really
grand difference, It was like, oh, they recognized she was there, but she didn't play into it, or that's what I've heard. I don't know to what extent, but yeah, this is I saw another video and someone described it perfectly, actually. This game is just irresponsibly big. It's, if you're going to do this, then pack it. And fortunately, Rockstar, who make some of the biggest open world games, if not the biggest, do it way better than this. Because all Starfield is a collection of open world maps. It's not one open world.
Procedurally generated, man.
Procedurally yeah. Whereas Grand Theft Auto, it's open world, it's vast, it's connected, and it's hand curated. I go down here, I know what to expect. Oh, there's a corner store. There's a guy with a... You know what I mean? You know what to expect, and they do it well, and your main points are there, and everything in between is there, how you expect it to be, but done in a way that's interesting, invigorating, and to some degrees, fictional, because it's a game at the end of the day, so you do want to do things in a game that you can't do in real life. But Starfield just doesn't make me feel like I'm in space. Doesn't make me feel attached to any of the characters, doesn't make me feel engaged. I'm kind of tired of these loading screens now. The engine is already showing Starfield looks great when you take screenshots. I'll say that because it's not moving. But as soon as you got to move, like, don't get me wrong. When Todd Howard says, "Oh, we've evolved Creation Engine, we've now got bits of ray tracing and reflection," it's like, yeah, but in stills it looks great when you compare it to, let's say, Fallout 4. But in motion, Fallout 4 plays better, and it plays more like a modern game, if anything.
But another thing as well, you've got all of these, which they tuck them away. So if you haven't got one activated, one of your abilities that you pick up, right, from collecting the shard pieces or whatever in the first playthrough, if you don't have one of them selected, they bury those so far deep into the menu system, you forget you've even got them. So you stick to just gunplay.
You literally have reminded me that they're there.
Game. You literally,
I've completely forgot about those, and I actually collected them all to get the achievement.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. I was like, I think you stumble across one in the main playthrough, and then it's just like, oh, they're out there if you want to collect them. But there's no significance. There's no importance. There's no, sort of Power Rangers moment where if you get all 20 of them and combine them, then this, nothing.
Well, this is where they could be really clever with these types of things. Why aren't they saying, look, we're going to put a level cap on this DLC. You need to complete the base game. I don't know why people would ever complain about them putting a level cap on it, to be honest. But we're actually going to leverage these abilities in order to... You have to use some of these abilities to be able to progress. And you don't have to use any of them. I literally used one, and that was to slow time down occasionally. I didn't use anything else.
I completely forgot. I haven't used a single one. How do you activate them again? Is it just the bumper?
You've got to go in the menu, press a couple of other buttons, go back, go...
No, I mean to activate it in the game. Do you have to push both bumpers down, or how do you do it?
Yeah, LBRB.
Okay.
But you got to check if one's actually activated in the menu first.
Oh, for God's sake.
Because it randomly turned mine off.
Oh.
Like 3/4 away through the playthrough. I was like, why isn't this working? It was switched off somehow. Just did it by itself. So...
It's not good. It's not good. Yeah, I don't know. People are speaking to Bethesda, and they're all, oh, we're really proud of the end product, and people who haven't got a great experience with the DLC want to politely remind you that these were the same people who were making DLCs and levels for Morrowind and Quest and things like that, Oblivion. It's like, all right, but maybe we need new talent now. You can't keep rinsing and repeating them and just reskinning them. You got to change engines. You have to change engines. There's so much potential. I'm trying to think. Even Scorn. I've just played Scorn. Something as AA, as low budget and indie as that is, uses Unreal Engine 4, and it looks better than Starfield. It doesn't break the immersion. When I hit pause on Scorn, the game bloody paused. On Starfield, if I happen to pause and it just happens to be auto-saving, I get this really long pause of a blue screen before the menu comes up. Then the menu comes up just so I can go into my inventory. Just at every step of the process, I'm reminded that I'm playing a subpar optimized game. And everything becomes a chore. I don't want to change weapons because I know I've got to load up the inventory, and that's 8 clicks and X number of seconds to load.
Yeah.
None of this just makes sense. It's too much, and I think I said this earlier on. I'll say it again. You know, Todd Howard saying that they've now got the technology to make this type of game. They couldn't do it 25 years ago. It's absolute BS because technology isn't there. It's not. If this was your, well, the question is this your vision, or was something else your vision and you're just saying it? Because if this was your vision, where every step of the way something's loading, an SSD's not going to help you, mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Star Citizen's shown.
Yeah, but I will say, I cannot wait to see the next gen version of Starfield. Because once they patch this crap, and if there's some way where they can make the loading instant, which will happen as hard drives and SSDs get faster, it will be great.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards maybe not touching any more DLC until that day, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so not a bad shout. You know, it was really odd because obviously they added the land vehicle in. So you buy it at your port. To speak to a technician, you can buy it. So I bought my Rev 8 with some of that blood money that you get from one of the side quests. So the first DLC they released, they make the map be full of mountains and all of this other stuff that it makes trying to drive around on this this particular planet totally pointless. You will get there quicker traveling by foot. And it's just like, what? You knew you were adding this vehicle to the game. But I mean, I'm glad they've added it to it. But again, speaking of the game in general, if you're going to give me all this crafting ability, make it work and make it pay for me in the game. It doesn't pay for you in the game.
Yeah.
You can't invite anyone to it like GTA Online. So hang out in a pad and maybe there's some fun things you can buy in there. You can't do anything like that.
You know how good co-op would be on this game?
I know.
That'd be so good. Can you imagine like 20 of you just like spacewalking across a planet? Oh god.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's weird because Starfield, when you look at the base of it, the way that it's been constructed, it's a type of game that actually would be better suited as a live service game with constant updates, new missions happening, reasons to go back. Just in the way that they've built it, with online play.
It's funny you say that, considering how much we hate live service games.
But it's the perfect one, right?
This game really is that. I mean, even if it's a live service game that you pay for, so it's got that single player and story experience, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah. It's definitely... And now that I'm letting it dawn on me, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to wait. I'm not going to touch any more DLC. By the time the next Xbox comes out, or heck, on PlayStation by this point, because it's going to come out on PlayStation soon, and they do a definitive Game of the Year edition with 20 DLC packs, I get to just bulk it, like a whole TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
With a patch and everything.
Is it worth 25 quid?
No, well, it's actually, here it's $30, so no, it's not. It's not.
I'd struggle to see it being worth that. I mean, I will say I am used to not paying full price for most of the games that I get, but
yeah. I mean, historically,
wait till it's on sale. Personally,
yeah, no, absolutely. Historically, DLCs for Bethesda games have always been around the 20 mark. So the fact that this was 30 kind of was giving me the impression that maybe there's more that they've done, just not in the DLC. Maybe there's something on this planet that might be of interest. Yeah. But it really is a self-contained DLC. It's like new planet, new vehicle, new story, and it's all here. All right, I get it, but it would have been great if you added something elsewhere as part of the DLC, like, all right, fine. Yeah. You want to say that a mysterious incoming message has come along? Fine. We're picking up a weird signal on this planet over there. Make me go over there. You got this, again, you say what you said. You got this universe. Make me go there. Yeah, make me go there. I've leveled up my ship. I can travel anywhere at one jump now. I don't need to bounce.
Yeah.
The fun ain't there.
The side missions are a bit rubbish as well. I mean,
they are.
Wasn't a single side mission that made me go, that was really cool. Not a single one.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are fetch quest based, and
they all are.
Other ones are just utterly pointless. And you look at that map, and it's refineries, research labs. I mean, it's all the stuff we've seen on every single planet in the main base game. So how have you not like figured out something new?
We saw it in Fallout. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah.
Refineries. There's plenty of those in Fallout.
Yeah. It's just like, again, it harks back to what I said earlier. They've got every possibility to do something, even just fun here and there.
Yeah.
And nothing exists. Just look what they did with Golden Saucer and Rebirth. You know, just little things like that. Imagine like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy type thing.
Yeah.
Just an absolute open goal. And they fumbled the ball. So that's our thoughts. I don't think we've given the story away, what there is of it anyway.
No. Play at your own risk.
Okay. Yeah, it's... had I known what this was like, I think the review scores, to be honest with you, are probably about right.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying, "Oh, this is an attack on Xbox again."
It's mid.
I think it hit around about 64.
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty around that. I wouldn't say it's a 7.
Sort of a 6 out of 10 is what I'm leaning more towards as well.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling with even that just because of the performance of the damn thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's annoying.
It played better on my VR headset, which I played most of the game on, by the way.
What?
Than on my Xbox.
Because you're streaming on better... Wait, did you stream
I'm streaming
from your...
it, so they've locked it to obviously some other frame rate where I don't have as many issues.
Are you streaming from your Xbox or the cloud Xbox?
No, cloud.
That's why, yeah. It's much more powerful hardware. Interesting, that. Yeah, it's practically a PC.
It was weird, because I obviously mentioned all the problems that I was having. And then I went literally played the rest of it on VR. And didn't have the same problems.
Huh. Maybe we do need new hardware after all.
Yeah. So that was our featured game of the episode, and I'll be interested to see what they decide to do next. I said they were going to commit to this game for 10 years, was it?
Something like that.
Something like that. So I don't know what they're going to do next.
We'll be back for episode 685 and let you know our thoughts on the definitive edition.
Sarah Morgan gets the menopause and you have to do something.
I swear to God, if these characters don't age, something's up. I want to see grey hair.
We need some seriously more interesting characters, that's for sure. But there we go. Speaking of which, since I spoke briefly about the VR, very important gaming piece of news that broke just before recording today. It was in the rumour pile, but is now being confirmed. Super excited for this because not only does it make things even more delectable from a VR standpoint of streaming games, but it also solidifies even more about a possible handheld. So this is buy to own. So any games that you own, now I'd be interested to see where it's going to be. I mean, we will definitely push the envelope as to whether this is true or not, because we've got hundreds upon hundreds each of owned games. But Xbox are bringing, from next month, they're going to be bringing all supposed Xbox digital download games to cloud streaming.
About time. This is why when I switched to all digital, I switched for this moment. One day you're going to be able to stream everything without carrying discs, and it's happening finally.
Are you likely to take advantage?
No.
Because I've been taking advantage of cloud streaming. For me, it's changed the dial.
Yeah. I think this is more in prep for the handheld, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
There's too much back-end work going on that doesn't make sense on its own. But then when you look at a lot of this, they're doing all these keyboard adjustments on the new Xbox dashboard. It's like, why are you changing the keyboard? It works fine. Well, for a handheld, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But, streaming on your xCloud all of a sudden is becoming important now that we're doing this handheld, isn't it? There's probably not going to be a cartridge. There's going to be no disk drive, no cartridge slot like a Switch. It's all going to be 100% streaming and digital. Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah, I just hope that they put a decent amount of storage in there. Don't just give me the 32 gig that Nintendo have done. Give me... What would be acceptable, actually? 256? I think 256 is acceptable.
Well, are they going to give you the it'd be interesting to handheld whether they're going to give you that option to download that game offline or not.
Yeah, well, Phil's already said, because I think Ryan McCaffrey, IGN, during the Summer Game Show afterwards, he said, in theory, if you were to do a handheld, are you more on the side of streaming or more on the side of, localization? He goes, it's got to be localization. But they already do a streaming service, so they'll offer both. They do it now. You're on your Xbox, download it or just click to stream.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that because more info as to why on last week's podcast, if you're interested, but more and more games I'm playing in VR on Xbox, mate. It's just
really
fantastic. I absolutely love the size of that screen. It's huge.
Meta 3 then, yeah?
Meta Quest 3. It's just absolutely fantastic. And the fact that it handled Starfield really well has opened up the type of games that I'm willing to play on it now as well.
That's the hardware it's running on. It's been streamed to the Meta. It's not the Meta that's doing that.
No, I know that, but that's fine. That's totally fine.
You're still experiencing the better version, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that I thought it would be my internet connection chugging that experience, and I didn't really have any problems.
Yeah.
The first 5 seconds of once you loaded into the game, you might get input lag for about 5-10 seconds, and then it just sorts itself out. It figures itself out. But
where I'm at this crossroads
news
now because it's been a year since the Meta 3's come out.
Yeah,
like,
the 3S has come out, the cheaper 3S.
Yeah, but do I wait for the 4 now? Do I wait for the 4 now? That's where I'm at. Yeah. It's been a year, you know tech how tech rolls around. They're gonna do a 4 real soon. I'm pretty sure that's the one I'll jump on.
Possibly. I mean, I'm allocating some money if they do bring a 4 out.
There you go.
I'm going straight for it, and that will put 3 VR headsets in my household.
Yeah, you're gonna be collecting headsets now.
Like, if you're gonna go into that space, Tevelus, pick one up for your other half.
I think where it burnt me is I got the PSVR 2 temporarily, and hardware wise it was up there. It was clear and everything, but I don't know. Everything I played on it still felt like everything was just showcasing the fact that it was VR. There was no from the days of the first PSVR, where we're all ducking behind couches and shooting over bar tops and stuff like that. It feels like games are still doing that. However,
they are.
That's the native experience. However, you're saying now there's a lot of this streaming stuff. And I think what I'm struggling with is, okay, I can stream it to my face, and that sounds good and everything. I can sit back on a sofa instead of sitting forward looking at a screen. But that experience isn't going to be... I mean, I've got a really good TV. Yeah. Is it going to look better than the TV I've got? Do you know what I mean? So that's my first question. Second of all, I don't know. Do I want to play it on the little joypad thingamajigs that come with it, or do I want to use a dedicated Xbox controller?
I use my Xbox controller. Yeah.
Oh, you can use your Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's Bluetooth. Just add it as a Bluetooth. Really simple.
I did not know that. Okay, I thought you use little thumbsticks that they.
No. You can plug keyboards, mouse into it, all sorts.
Oh.
But they obviously, like I said, the third productivity use I have for this is for work as well. So. Whereas if we were to go back 2-3 years ago, go back to the Quest 2, it was just the games. And it's expanded so much more now that rather than it gathering dust for 6 months, this thing is getting used every single day now. That's
really?
Totally... Yeah.
So does it? What do you do? Do you tether it to your PC or your Mac? Or?
So I've got... Horizon Workrooms is like their corporate version of it. You download the Meta software on the computer and it will mirror your... MacBook, and then you can create. So on that specific app, it will give you 3 screens. So you can have. Bearing in mind, I've only got a single screen here, and then there's other apps like the one I mentioned on last episode. You can create as many bloody windows as you want.
And what happens if you want to do like a conference call? So obviously it will start using the webcam.
You can. So it's compatible with. So as long as you have synced up or logged into your Outlook calendar inside VR, you can attend calls in VR with Zoom calls, I think it is.
And it will show like a avatar, or
it will show you your calendar of events.
No, I mean, what do they see? Me with a headset on?
So when I looked into this really deep, it depends on your level of subscription of your workplace. It's because Microsoft has Mesh, which enables you to create your own virtual worlds for conference calls, and then Zoom has support for video calls and stuff. But yeah, I think for Zoom it just gives you either you can upload your profile picture of a normal picture or select an avatar or something like that for people that aren't in the headset.
Yeah.
But you can have full-on virtual conferences if you want, but obviously everyone needs a headset to do that.
Interesting, that, because the way Apple handles it, you do a FaceTime call and they'll actually do like a cartoon version of your face. Not cartoon.
Yeah.
It's kind of between a cartoon and between the real thing.
Yeah.
So it's trying to
it's not,
be as lifelike as
in
possible.
depth as that.
No.
But
Okay.
it's
Interesting.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to move on to a bit of a retort section here. So it's interesting. Did you see a few of those comments?
What
So
comments?
I said, look, XDefiant is dying. The reason why it's dying is because you guys are insistent about not having SBM in skills-based matchmaking, for those that don't know. And there was a few comments on it. And, the argument that I made was, you've got to think of this in the perspective of, one, not only have we got a huge smorgasbord of choice on the shooter side of things, but are you seriously asking people to do 40 hours a week at work, come back home, use your precious time that you do have left recreationally just to get obliterated? Surely not. But I swear they're loving it, because obviously they're having that first taste of when a new Black Ops game comes out and you reset your rank, and if you're really good, you're just going to annihilate people. I think that's the main reason why and they'll go with the argument, oh well, just get better. And it's like, okay,
I don't want to get better.
do you want your free-to-play game to have enough people to play with? If so, if you want your non-SBMM stuff, stick that in the ranked mode, and then just do an unlisted one where you can have skills-based matchmaking or something.
Yeah.
You need players for this game to exist, and all the signs are showing that, people are just completely losing all interest in XDefiant now.
Yeah.
Even with their new Highwaymen as the new class of characters that have released, which I think they're from...
Hyman?
Highwaymen. I think they're from The Crew.
I thought you said Hyman.
That'd probably be better. But anyway. But yeah, it was like, they'll defend this game to the hilt, but you can't.
Here's a bit of news. We've got literally 2 weeks until Black Ops 6 is released.
Yes. Speaking of which, Nuketown is returning.
We knew it was going to happen, but it's good to be confirmed.
So that's...
Such a perfect map, Nuketown. Just perfect.
With the traditional version available too, apparently.
Oh. Don't know
so
that.
There's going to be the one that was in Black Ops 3. Black Ops? No, the original Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah.
And then the other variants, Warhead and Sandhouse, which plays upon the layout.
And they normally do a Christmas one as well. So every Christmas, everyone will have decorations out on the lawn, and there'll be a giant Santa Claus somewhere. And I think they need to just release a playlist of just all the Nuketowns. There's been seven or eight variants now. Heck, I'd even go as far as saying, let's do, instead of just doing the cul-de-sac part of Nuketown, what's further up the road? Make that next.
They could do some of that. Yeah.
Make that next section a map. So literally every map in the playlist is a different part of this Nuketown street, whatever it's called. It would just be this Desperate Housewives, Wisteria Lane weirdness. I love it, mate. I'm telling you. That's all I want.
That'd be pretty good. I've got to say, I'm impressed with this rotation that they've done on Black Ops, on Modern Warfare 3, which they'll do on Black Ops.
Yeah.
They're keeping that playlist fresh. Each time I've gone on there, there's something, like whole new game modes we're talking about here to try out. I know some of them experimental and they're a bit hit and miss here and there. But at least they're trying things.
You're keeping people... I mean, it was a WWE thing. I mean, it didn't work great for me. And then what are they doing now?
There's the Halloween event things happening at the moment, and there are certain things that will give you jump scares. So if you happen to shoot a pumpkin, something will come out and try and jump scare you and all that stuff. Just little things like that. I just love
That's how you do it.
That's how you keep people keep coming back. Learn from the epic when the only game that they seem to do right, which is Fortnite.
Yeah. Are you excited? I've had a little break from
COD.
Yeah. Not really, but you're going to do it anyway.
No, I'm going to do the. I'm going to do the.
You're going to do it anyway.
Well, if they're not, I think personally we're not going to see any of this open mission types in this game, and that's what really impressed me in Modern Warfare 3. So it wouldn't surprise me that I gravitate to that part of the studio's armory than Black Ops.
Interesting. People tend to think that the Black Ops stuff is better than the Infinity Ward stuff, which is
it
Modern
might be
Warfare.
story-wise, so I'd be interested to see how that plays out. But I did manage to finally get Modern Warfare 2 physical copy. So I've got the whole thing to go through now.
The remake or the original 360 version?
No, the remake.
There you go. I'm keen to.
So
Modern Warfare 1 was great.
Yeah. So I've got 1 and 2 to go through, which I've not obviously played, and I did Modern Warfare 3 first. So I just hope there's. I don't know what I've done to the storyline there.
Forget the story.
Really
Forget the story.
Yeah.
Just what I'll say. So obviously Piccadilly Circus in Modern Warfare 1. Remember that. And Amsterdam in Modern Warfare 2.
I remember seeing the Amsterdam footage. That looked great.
Oh my god, mate. Yeah. yeah.
I have to look up for that. Shifting gears slightly, if you are interested in voting in any of these gaming awards shows, we actually have our UK equivalent of Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards that's taking place very soon. It's called the Golden Joystick Awards, and I remember actually going as press eons ago. And voting is available now, and it's pretty much open until the end of this month. I've placed mine. There's about 20 different categories. Astrobot is in quite a few of them, to be honest with you. Balattro's featured in one of them, or 2 of them. So I voted for Balatro here and there. I think the most wanted would be an interesting one to take a look at.
Yeah. An honourable mention.
I'd be amazed if
anything by Sergei Noskov.
Oh dear. But if you want to go check that out, it's at gamesradar.com/Golden Joystick Awards.
Yes.
Definitely give it a vote. It will be interesting to see how it pans out with especially the most wanted. Looking like GTA 6 is in that category. If it doesn't win it, I will be amazed.
Yeah.
But
well, on the topic of voting, my US election ballot arrived in the mail today.
Oh, did it really?
So so obviously,
Are you gonna go in person, or are you gonna trust the mail?
I did the Senate one in the mail, and it seemed to get there.
Yeah.
And then, funnily enough, once I'd become a citizen and I registered to vote, I got a letter a few weeks later saying, "Can you please?" There was a QR code on the mail. Took me to a website to take a picture of my face, and then I had to sign a piece of paper and take a picture of it. So they are doing checks. So I'll trust the mail because it does get a bit hectic on the actual day going to the nearest school. But not just the presidency we're choosing. I think there's new House members on there, local governors as well, all on the same thingamajig. So I'm excited to be partaking in my first US vote.
There you go.
There you go. It's for the culture. Man.
It's probably the most important election of them all as well.
In the words of Diddy, this is what our future generation. What our future generations will remember us for.
Well, they won't remember him for that bit of enlightened talk there.
Yeah.
They'll remember him for other stuff.
Telling me no.
Who would have thought? It's just incredible. R. Kelly comes off looking quite normal.
He's looking healthy, revived. He looks like he's had a good sleep.
Yeah. But anyway, we've already put a little short up about a couple of these ones, but I just wanted to get your general take on, obviously, Halo moving over to Unreal 5. I mean, goodness me, probably makes a lot of sense. But there's still the red flags all here, there, all over the place that, is this a savvy little rebrand for 343 and the same problems could exist here, or are they having a total rethink? Well, one thing we do know is apparently there's several concurrent projects on the spin here. So
I think first and foremost, I think Halo moving to, or at least the Halo mainline game moving to Unreal Engine 5 is the best thing that can happen to that game. After what Infinite went through, it's funny because any game that has Infinite in the title is like a sub. You had Halo Infinite, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Anything Infinite has always failed. I don't know what it is. Something jinxed about that word Infinite. It just always fails. Yeah. But anyway, Unreal Engine 5, fantastic. But I did, as I was going down the X rabbit hole today, I did stumble across a series of tweets from a developer who I believe is no longer at 343, kind of, as they say, spilling the tea.
I think I might have read this, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently they had been saying for the last 7 years, well early in development, that this needed to be on UE5, considering the scope and open world scale that they had intended for Halo Infinite. So devs were calling it out. People didn't want to listen. They wanted to press ahead with Slipspace or Slipgate, whatever it's called. And we all saw the results of that. It was just too hard to develop. A lot of good people got let go of. A lot of people got fired. A lot of people in tears. So one of the concerns now is it's all very well saying, oh, we're going to move to Unreal Engine 5, which should have happened. But the talent they now have to acquire to fulfill that same dream, if not better, or put in the same work, if not better, the quality, understand matchmaking. Like, there's definitely a lot more. It's easier to hire Unreal Engine 5 developers because it's regarded as one of the biggest engines in the world.
Yeah.
But you also need people who are talented enough to make a AAA, if not quadruple A game like Halo. This is, Halo's become a joke. It's become a laughingstock. And you cannot just rebrand 343 to Halo Studios and expect everyone to forget what has transpired. Especially considering, there are a few individuals still at the studio who don't have the best history.
Yeah. One doesn't even apparently like guns or something. It's like, well, I mean, you're in the wrong game there.
This is it, This is it. So I hope they don't turn Halo into the laughingstock of the industry. And I hope they do it justice. I hope they bring back the essence of Halo. But I hope they add more to it. Like, take it to the next level. Like, I liked Infinite for what it tried to do. But it was still... I felt like the gameplay was still a little bit stuck in the past, if I'm honest. There was some real frustrating...
cookie cutter internals. Yeah. Copy pasta all over the place.
This is it, And I expected a bit more from the open world element. But what actually it felt like was that there was silos of activity in an open world rather than this open world that meshed together. And they tried to blend it with, every so often you get that overhead ship that kind of drops enemies down. But that didn't really work. It just actually ended up annoying me.
Yeah.
Because, if you're relatively early on in the game, you're getting attacked from up above. You haven't got your weapons. You haven't got your bearings. It just wasn't great at that point.
Yeah.
And if you're playing on Legendary, then you get stuck in these battles where... you're literally scraping for ammo and guns, but if you go too far outside the radius of the enemy, it resets everything. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and obviously the couch co-ops thing was a big issue that didn't have that at launch. Online co-op just about worked, but even that suffered a little bit. And just the overall online experience, with matchmaking, co-op, and Forge mode came out way too late. They were just, I think even to date, we've only gotten 5 seasons of Halo, and what has it been? 3 years, 4 years, 3, 4, 3, I don't know. Yeah.
I really, whatever they decide to do next, please, just, for goodness sake, play around with some different textures, play around with some different looking locations, because goodness me, Halo Infinite felt very, very much the same.
Well, this is where UE will shine. If it textures, effects, the world, even if the game plays like rubbish, it will still look gorgeous.
Did you see the UE5? I managed to catch about an hour of their update, of their release of their engine.
Oh,
a thing called Big Lights.
Yeah.
Big Lights looks incredible.
Yeah, and it's so I don't know how they're doing it. Whoever's working on this engine is just absolute geniuses. You had Lumen, which was... just makes the games look incredible, and the mesh shaders and everything, and then Big Lights, and what was 8.4 I think had this world building ability where it's like, I put 4 textures down, make me a room with these 4 textures, and it just creates some of those unique procedurally generated stuff that I'm like, we've got the tools. And I think I said this on Twitter the other day, like, why are we not getting the games for it yet?
Yeah.
What's holding it back? Is it the business? Is it talent? Are people not keeping up with the evolving technologies? It's I've always said it's business. Business wants to make money, so we can't spend 9 years making a game and sell it for 60. What's the point? We're not in that world anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not that thing. You could give us a fair price for a shorter experience. I'm not too... Interestingly, because this is where the industry is supposedly going, and we've never really discussed it. How do you feel about that? If you're getting something a bit more in the $40 mark, but you're having an experience that isn't 50, 100 hours anymore, it's actually shorter, maybe the length of, say, something like Astrobot, but you're having more of those experiences. For me personally, and the life I have now, it feels more appealing than committing over several hundred hours into a game to have more of these shorter experiences that are more compelling.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. 10 years ago I would have said the complete opposite, but at this point in my life as well, I have less time to commit to the console or TV in general. But in saying that, I don't want to give off the impression like I never want to have an open world experience that does span hundreds of hours, because every now and then I do like to delve into something like that. Very, very seldomly, but Cyberpunk was one of those worlds. Grand Theft Auto is going to be another one of those worlds that I want to live in there for a good couple of months. But yeah, like if we can sell a base game at 50, and instead of the expansions being so small, make the expansions bigger and sell them maybe for an extra 10. So do what Starfield did. 50 base game and then 30 for an expansion. But a sizable expansion, not just, here's a new room and a new location with a new gun and a skin.
Yeah.
Meld it into the world. I wanna see it transpire everywhere,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that'd be good. I've heard some information, by the way, about Until Dawn, the remaster that nobody wanted. Wow, this is interesting.
We saw it coming.
We saw it coming, yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of people did, to be fair. So we actually have some sales figures. It's interesting. Hard to get hold of some of these chart rankings, but the PS5 and PC remaster of Until Dawn had an absolutely abysmal debut position in the UK sales charts, according to GfK Entertainment Software charts. It ended up in 14th place, behind the likes of Sonic Superstars, which is a game that came out in 2023, but it was on sale. I will say it was on sale because I picked it up. Animal Crossing New Horizons, which has been out for a while, and obviously GTA 5, which has been out for fucking forever. So
still selling.
And even FC24 outsold it. So 14th debut, Sony continuing that remaster, doubling down on the remaster method, and they got stung. Which is...
I read somewhere that there were fewer players playing it than Concord on week 1.
Was it?
Yep. It was like 100 and something, and gotta be honest, I still haven't played Until Dawn, so I might be one of them.
It might be one.
But at this point, I might as well wait because it's gonna go half price in a matter of days now.
Oh, that's not a bad... Yeah.
Yeah, it really
was.
very
true.
I bought it on PS4, just never got around to playing it.
Yeah. Well, it might be a chance to do... Did you ever play like Detroit and Heavy Rain?
I have Detroit. I haven't played it. I have not played Heavy Rain. Yeah, but I got a feeling.
Those are two that I never got round to playing.
Days Gone is something else I've got, but I haven't played that yet.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just going to wait for the remasters that Sony are obviously going to be doing for an extra 10 every so often.
No doubt. What do you think is happening here with this Nintendo thing? So for those that don't know, Nintendo are inviting Nintendo Switch Online and Plus, because they do another version of it now where you can get access to more of their back catalogue. Inviting them to a playtest, which they have asked them all not to talk about, which is a bit of a pointless thing to ask them because it's going to get leaked. But what are your thoughts as to what this could be?
I want to believe that Nintendo are finally going to implement an actual online service, for the Switch 2. My fear is that they're going to introduce something that no one's asked for in typical Nintendo fashion, like the bloody alarm clock that we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
Give me voice chat, give me usernames, give me some kind of an interface where I can say, oh, there's my mate, bang, invitation sent. Like PlayStation, like Xbox. That's all we want. That's all we want. Give me achievements. I don't care if they're called achievements. Give me something that keeps me in the Nintendo ecosystem. Because right now, it's very easy for me to bounce in and bounce out. And it's very hard for me to bounce out of Xbox because of all the library, because of all of the achievements, because of my online friends, because of the ecosystem, because of how well it all integrates into every other aspect of my life. PlayStation, I didn't jump in too much, but they've got a similar ecosystem that once you're in, you're in. You know, I think Nintendo need that. They really do.
Yeah, and, you know, like asking someone to download a app on their iPhone to do voice chat is...
Stupidest thing.
Stupid.
I mean, online was clearly an afterthought. It really is. But what? I mean, we've been having online since the first Xbox. Like, why are they not? I don't know.
I don't know whether it's to protect.
No, we can. There's means. We can have it. Look, when you open up anything nowadays, you've got to agree to a EULA, all right? And more often than not, they'll ask you your birthday. Basis information. Do you want a kid's account or do you want a adult account? You know, any adult who's buying Nintendos or electronics for their kids, they're going to probably set them up as well. So set the account up, leave it open, no passcodes, no credit card info, they can't buy stuff, and that's it.
Yeah. So the other speculation is it the return of Miiverse?
Oh, that's what they're going to do, isn't it? They're going to do it.
The other speculation is it could be them expanding their back catalogue now to include GameCube games.
But would you need a mass open beta test like this or a closed beta test?
Well, I don't know, because the most that they're throwing down the pipe is N64 level streaming, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they want to see if streaming GameCube level games?
No, because they do have Resident Evil 7 and 8 that you can play cloud versions.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're already doing that. This has to be something new. And we're so close to Switch 2 being announced that it has to be this. It has to be.
Okay.
And look, I think the numbers are giveaway as well, right? 10,000 participants. That looks like a network stress test to me. That's not just two people saying, "Oh, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Great, that works." That's really. I think what's probably going to happen is they've got a couple of games, probably Splatoon 3, and they've got like an internal build of this thing using the new features.
Right.
And they say, "All right, guys, you've got 10 hours of playtime. Here's a new interface. Let us know what you think."
Okay. So potential UX upgrade for these.
I think it's both UX and back-end. Yeah, a stress test.
Interesting. We shall see, no doubt, because, well, no one's going to keep that quiet. So we'll probably find out before recording next episode as to what that is.
I'm dying to know.
But one thing that we were hoping, well, I mean, people were wondering what this patent was. Is this going to be an interesting thing? No, it's an alarm clock. So, Nintendo have released the Alarmo, which is alarming.
Not as much as the price.
It's $100. It's already buyable now, apparently, in the main Nintendo store.
No, in the US,
New York.
US only. US online as well.
Yeah. People have already been buying it to do their YouTube videos.
I almost bought one.
No. Really?
I saw the thing on Twitter and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. And then I ate lunch, threw YouTube on, and obviously the promotion video came up and I was like, let me see what this is about. And I'm like, oh, you know what? The Mario alarm face looks amazing. Have you seen the promotional video, by the way?
I've seen the video.
I was like, it's a very good alarm clock. And then it was like, oh, you can download more themes in the store and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so it's internet connected. And more importantly,
motion censored.
Yeah, more importantly, this is going to be a collector's item. that won't be able.
Oh yeah.
You won't be able to buy. So I went onto the website on my phone, and it's like sign in. I signed in, and it's like add to cart. I'm like, oh great, this is easy. Got to the checkout, hit place order. Then it's like, oh, you're not an online Switch member.
Oh.
Then I stopped. I'm like, you're not about to force me to sign up to Nintendo Online the way it is.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, but this is gonna be a collector's item.
I think some people have already struggled to buy it now.
So I went back. And then it was like, oh, you can sign up for 1 month for $3.99. I was like, oh, this makes it easy again. So, okay, all right. So went to sign up for $3.99. And this is how I know Nintendo are just doing everything to stop me from buying this. Oh, pop your credit card in. All right. Oh, we don't accept Amex. All right, now you... Nah. I already jumped through 2 of your hurdles. You're not about to tell me how you're going to charge me. No, close the browser. I'm like, you're not about to do that to me.
Okay.
Oh... We still live in a world where we don't accept Amex in a bunch of places.
Where would you have put the thing then? In your games room?
Yeah, well, you can't see it on video right now, but I might show it one day. Behind me, I've got a massive shelf, and each shelf has a different theme. So I've got a Nintendo themed shelf with some coffee coasters, an old SNES version of Street Fighter 2 I got a few years back. Power-up mushroom, a couple of things. It would have gone there.
So you weren't functionally going to use it as an alarm clock then?
Well,
it was just more of a showcase piece.
Well, I would have taken it out of the box, kept the box obviously, but I would have had it connected and wired up so it would be live in the background.
Yeah.
So that would have been pretty cool. Oh, I might still buy it. Oh, I want it though. No. I want it. I want it. Oh, it's a nice alarm clock.
To me, my first reaction is, what the hell is this?
It's stupid.
I could see it. I could see that it was going to be a collector's piece, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
In terms of, I don't know how many units they're creating, but I'm assuming they're not going to mass produce this ridiculous.
It looks like it's not going to be mass produced, but I did buy something else. I bought a Taiko no Tatsujin drum for the new.
That was it. Yes.
For the new game coming up, Ribbon Festival.
Has it arrived yet, or is it on pre-order?
Pre-order. It should be coming in about a week and a half to 2 weeks when the new game comes out in November.
Nice.
So the drum was historically, it's made by Hori, so they make a bunch of arcade sticks as well. But it was only ever out on Nintendo Switch. For the first time ever, they've released it on PlayStation and Xbox.
Right.
So they're fully supporting it, and the game's going to have an online music pass as well, which I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of...
You tempted with?
What's wrong with me, man? I don't pay for stuff like this.
It's coming up to Christmas, that's what it is.
I know the missus will love it, though, so...
Yeah. Interesting look of those drumsticks, by the way. You could forgive them for looking to something else.
Very cigar-like.
Yeah, exactly.
They've just got a certain awe to it, you know?
Well, you have to give us when you get them, give us your opinion of what it's like and stuff.
May even grace the channel with an unboxing video. Who knows? It's been a while.
Who knows? It's been a while since we've opened up some beers from Fallout and stuff like that.
Oh, I had to throw those away.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, the alarm clock was not really... I don't know, I took a look at it and thought, what the hell is this? It does open up a morality type thing. I don't know if this is going to sell units. Maybe it's for people that have replaced the pacifier with the iPad for kids growing up.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird. There's a bit of shystiness with it if they are targeting younger players.
Yeah.
In a way, well, the first thing you'll see when you wake up is Nintendo. The last thing you'll see before you go to sleep is Nintendo.
I never thought of it that way. It's an advertising. It's from our server to your subconscious.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. We'll no doubt see how well it does at some point in the future, or whether it will do a Vision Pro where everyone buys it initially to make their videos and then send it back.
Returns it, yeah.
So we shall see.
I'm actually curious, is it still on sale? Alarmo.
I think it's probably sold out of its initial batch.
Here we go. We're almost we're loading up now. Sign in to add to cart. No, it looks like it's still on sale.
Oh, you can still get it.
Sign in for existing
he's got another chance.
Hold on a second. I don't have my credit card saved to this browser. Let me open up Safari where everything's all saved, nice and convenient, including the Visa this time.
You still got to put Nintendo Plus Switch Online first.
That's a bit more palatable because I miss playing Tetris 99 online. So hang on, sign in. We're gonna do this live. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this bloody live.
Whilst you're doing that, I'll quickly just confirm that we've got an Alien Isolation sequel in the works.
Yes.
So that is happening, and we don't know any ideas of when this might be coming out. But there was a 10th anniversary message from the developers. It's gonna release. I'd imagine they'll probably release it around about October, late October, whenever it decides to come out, whatever year that ends up being. But yeah, for those Alien fans, they might be absolutely loving that.
Oh, me included. That was one of the best games I've ever played. It's phenomenal.
I played about 15 minutes of it.
Yeah?
Another one of these ones that I barely played, yeah. So I might have to spin back round and give it another chance.
Yeah.
But
here's an interesting message. So I've signed in now. It says, for a limited time, paid Nintendo Online members in the United States and Canada can purchase Alarmo Online via the My Nintendo store before it's available to purchase by the general public. So this is going to be mass-produced. I just don't know why they're rolling it out this way. Probably to hit some online subscription numbers, maybe?
Possibly. Yeah, because it's not coming out till 2025.
Oh, is it not?
For general release, but you should be able to get it. Because for people to be already posting it on X, then I think they're just stopping general release from being able to buy it at the moment.
Maybe. No, I'm not going to do it. No. No. But I can't.
There's just a couple things to finish up on then very briefly. I wanted to get your thoughts. This is not gaming related, but I saw it. I was pretty darn impressed. Elon Musk coming out with his robot event and obviously the autonomous car and the Robo taxi. And then, what was it? The name of the van? It was like Robo-van or Robovan. Yeah,
I love it.
Did you watch any of did you scrub through the live stream and stuff?
I didn't scrub through the live stream. I caught the clips on X, and the taxi makes a lot of sense. There's another company doing it. I think it's called Waymo. They're doing it already. It's just puts Tesla on the map. The Robovan, I think, is a very interesting idea.
Yeah,
I can see that taking off. You want a party bus without a driver, get there in style. A bunch of girls don't want to get kidnapped by a dodgy cab driver.
Yeah.
Well, the Robovan is your
He's your friend.
He's your friend, yeah. But the robot is what impressed me the most because we've seen these robots before, and my initial thought when I saw the screenshot was, oh, for God's sake,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to click play. Then I clicked play and I saw someone interviewing the robot.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, whatever the robot's name is, where are you from? Oh, me? Oh, I'm from the Bay Area. I was like, what? He was actually responding.
It was so
human-like.
Talks like a real human, yeah.
Yeah. Walking's a little slow, but then again, when you think about it, it's like, well, do I want a robot walking that fast in my house? I'll probably get shook a bit,
Yeah.
But then it's weird because I actually thought, you know what, this thing looks like it could have the potential to look after babies, babysit, Mom and Dad want to go out. Listen, I want to call it Robovan. Feed the kid at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
Well, apparently he's saying that he's going to try and make this, even on the autonomous car. He's looking to try and get these to market at a price that isn't totally out of realistic expectations. It'll probably take some time, but he believes that something like that could be obtainable for about 30,000.
And on the surface, it does sound a lot of money. But then if you're actually going to be using it, which is what I think the intention of this product is for, and use it for like a helping hand, like a nanny or a butler or something, I mean, as long as they provide continuous updates, which I think at this point Tesla's proven they will do, that's a member of your family you don't have to be considerate of, worry about a bedroom, think about how much electric they're using, or they used all the hot water.
Well,
you're getting
pays for a cleaner, doesn't it?
right. It's mate. If this thing, and this is where my mind's going, right?
Yeah.
If this thing can cook me fresh food every day from scratch,
Yeah.
oh. Listen, I'll bring the groceries home. I'll put it there and go, right, open the fridge and make me something fresh pasta from scratch. If it can do that, oh, I'm day one, mate. Me and the missus just watching TV and this thing's just whipping up a meal. Right now, wash up those dishes and wipe the table down.
Yeah.
Don't use bleach. All right. Mate, I'm loving it.
Yeah. Oh, it does look really impressive. And
Yeah.
it's a shame there aren't more people like Elon out there, you know, not just looking... This is what really annoys me with Apple, because, like you said, they'll come out from one year to the next, you don't know they brought out a new phone, but yet they've probably got a roadmap for the next 10 years.
I'm going to either...
Well, they're not bringing out every phones as often now, apparently.
Yeah, so apparently the insiders have said that they're going to stop doing annual releases and do biannual releases. Because apparently now, with the Apple Intelligence, the updates are all going to be software-based.
Oh, right.
And so I'll believe it when I see it, to be honest, but it makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense, especially with their carbon credentials as well. They'll be...
They've got that 2030 deadline, haven't they?
Yeah,
That's how they're going to achieve it, by just not bringing out as much.
Bring your phones out for a few years. Oh, that's a 2030 done, right.
Yeah. And you know what happened, though? iOS 19, only $999 for the update.
My God. Can you imagine? Yeah.
They used to do that.
Did they?
So remember the iPod Touch?
Yeah.
Right, so iPhone would get an update. It's back in the iPhone 3G days. And everyone would say, oh, I want a Notes app on the iPod Touch. And then so they started doing these iOS updates for iPod Touch, but they charged like $9.99 for them. Because it wasn't like it wasn't essential. It was like, if you want them, they're there. They added Safari, Notes, I think Photos, something else as well, Calendar. But yeah.
Oh, God, on an iPod. Why?
Oh, no, this is the one that actually looked like an iPhone.
Right, okay.
Remember the vertical one? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, not so bad.
Makes sense.
But I just love to see a few more people out there trying to do what Elon's doing. It's not about, you know, your overarching principles are, we want to push humanity, like, you know, really innovate. And it's less about initially the margins of a profitable running business. It's about pushing the boundaries that, you know, of human existence, so to speak. Like, I love the fact that he's, you know, looking at Mars as genuinely being possible, as opposed to just, you know, pleasing a bunch of shareholders. And there's just not enough people like that who are looking really far into the future and seeing what's possible.
The whole Mars idea I don't know about, though. And this is clearly another conversation, but I just don't see the appeal of going to Mars.
There's a parallel to Starfield here.
There is a parallel to Starfield, but I think more importantly, Mars is, I think, even colder than Earth, isn't it? It's further away, so there's no water that we know of. You're going to have to nuke the north and south poles to create an atmosphere again. That's the only way you're going to get activity on there. What we're going to do, we're going to get robots to fly those Tesla planes to Mars and then just kamikaze into the north and south pole. Like, what are we going to do with a nuke on board? You know?
I don't know. No idea, but the fact that he's looking at, like, you know, like, here's the possibility, the likelihood of Earth being around. There's, you know, what was it, Interstellar? Or some other film
that is.
Talked about jumping onto secondary life on another planet. It might have been something else, but that is interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I the other thing that really impressed me with the Robo Taxi is it's been the first real palatable existence of something you can get into that is a proper circular economy. So they're doing a lot of circular economy stuff, obviously, in third world. Big multinational companies paying farmers agriculture properly and all this stuff. But there's never really been something that's like truly tangible over in the Western market so much. Whereas this is, you own one of these cars, you can lease it, you can lease these cars out, they self-clean themselves, these robo-taxis, and you can basically pretty much run your own private taxi company, or a fleet if you've got multiple of them, but you're taking Uber out of the equation, and it's like somewhere between his service that he envisages, it's something between Uber and Airbnb in terms of, it's a car that can be on the road and constantly get full usage out of a week rather than being parked permanently.
Yeah.
Or only used 20% of the time.
Yeah.
And he reckons he's going to sell these at around about $30,000. So you get your money back on them.
I mean, I tell you what, I'm going to be in the taxi business pretty soon if that is real.
That's what he said. That's what he said on the thing. Yeah. So,
well,
and he's saying 2026. These could be coming out.
Yeah, but he said that about the Cybertruck 5 years before that thing actually bloody came out after 2 cancellations. But yeah, here we are.
We got there in the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up this week's episode. Have we forgotten anything? I don't think we have.
I think that's it. We're right on the money.
We pretty much got it right on the money. Well, if we don't see you before then, which I'm sure we will because we'll have some highlight clips coming out for you guys, join us as a few days before Halloween with our Halloween special. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.